All right, welcome to Good Day Chicago in our 9 o'clock hour, everyone, on this Tuesday. Here's a look at some of the stories that we're following for you this morning.
8 LaGrange residents, they're just fed up with squatters who moved into their neighborhood and they will not move out. And now their fight is heading to court.
In many cases, change does not happen overnight. There's a ripple effect, starts a movement, kind of like the wave, in the sporting events. So that's what the minds behind the Ripple Effect Tour are hoping to inspire with their new event. And they're going to be joining us this morning with the new details. Some familiar faces to folks around here.
Yeah. All righty. And Block Club Chicago is joining us to talk about how Gajas became one of the most romantic spots in the Windy City and other big stories around Chicago. We just had Gajas on. It looked good.
Yeah. They like to claim that that is the number one spot for people to get engaged.
Yeah. When you're in the mood for love.
Right. All right. We're in the mood for warmer temperatures. And from this look, doesn't look as warm, but it's definitely a lot better than what we've seen lately, Caitlin.
Oh, yeah. Today, we're starting off with the 30s. Feels good. It looks good, too. We have a few clouds out there, but that's about it. Satellite and radar generally quiet outside of, as mentioned, the clouds, which you can see from that live shot. 24-hour temperature change. We are 17 degrees warmer right now at the lakefront compared to yesterday at this time, so a 10 to 20-degree jump from yesterday already. This afternoon, we're pushing into the 40s, so that warmer than yesterday temperature is going to continue to be the case. Right now, it's 39 degrees lakefront, as well as at O'Hare, 35 in Aurora, 39 in Morris, 40 in Kankakee already. Winds, it could be a little bit gusty today. Right now, we're seeing winds up to about 10 to 15, but later on, we could see 25 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts. But our futurecast shows the quiet conditions and the mild temperatures. 4:15, we're in the low to mid 40s. By 7, down to the mid 30s. And then tonight, it's going to be quiet, but temperatures are going to stay mild. You can see 27 degrees by 7:30 tomorrow morning. Highs tomorrow as we push into the afternoon, 2:45, and we're hovering in the upper 30s and low 40s. By 6, the mid 30s. So tomorrow, just a little bit cooler than today, but still going to be thawing across Chicagoland. Here's your 7-day forecast. Back to about 40 on Thursday. Small chance for some snow in the western areas. I'm talking about western counties in Chicagoland. As we end the week, sunshine, temperatures in the mid 40s for Friday. This weekend, back to the mid and upper 40s. Chance for rain is here Saturday night and Sunday, but still going to be very mild this weekend. Into next week, actually the extended forecast through the end of the month looks like we're going to be above normal with these temperatures. So we are going to be melting that snow finally in Chicagoland. Back to you.
All right, we're time zone 9:02 this morning. An eviction hearing is about to start over a home in LaGrange that has been taken over by squatters.
Oh, boy. Saquon joins us live there this morning with the details. Saquon, there's so much to this in terms of the details.
Yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, this has been quite the talker in LaGrange for about 6 months at this point. Residents say they are fed up with the activity they have seen playing out in their neighborhood, especially with the families and the young kids who live in that area and a school not too far from that neighborhood either. That home is on South Catherine in LaGrange. It was foreclosed on just last year. And since then, it really has been the subject of multiple complaints to police. Police and SWAT have previously raided this home. They say they found drugs inside, including fentanyl. Court documents also show allegations of prostitution, with reports of random women being dropped off with luggage and claims of people screaming and running out of the home in the middle of the night. We spoke with a realtor, actually, who explained how this home was likely taken over by these squatters.
When I am listing for my clients, I do not disclose the address. So a lot of times when we are trying to market properties because we want to sell them, and the best way to sell them is to get the listing to thousands of people who are on the market looking. However, when you disclose the address, it gives the scammers and the squatters a targeted property to go see if it's vacant or not, to break in, to change locks, and then to take over.
Well, it is worth noting here that new anti-squatter law that was just passed here in Illinois does not apply to people who were already living there before that law went into effect. So what does this mean? Basically, it means cases like these have to go through courts, which can take months, sometimes even years. With that being said, we know this case will now go in front of a Cook County judge today, who could decide as soon as this morning whether those squatters will be forced to go somewhere else. We know that hearing is set to take place in just the next 30 minutes or so at 9:30 this morning. Guys, back to you.
Man,
That's a lot.
It is. It certainly is, right? Well, We're also following developing news this morning. A rideshare driver gets sick after picking up a package in Logan Square.
So the driver and a passenger both felt sick after stopping to grab the package from Palmer and Central Park. They called 911. They were taken to the hospital. They're listed in fair condition. A hazmat crew responded and officers were able to recover the package, but an investigation into what happened is now underway. Don't know what that could have been. A $10,000 reward is now being offered for information leading to an arrest in the murder of an OEMC employee. A 36-year-old woman was found dead last Friday in her apartment in Westridge. Police say that she had been shot multiple times.
An apparent ransom deadline has come and gone for the return of Nancy Guthrie. Her possible kidnappers gave the family until last night to hand over $6 million in Bitcoin. It is not clear what could happen now, but the ransom note did describe it as, quote, far more consequential. Today Show host Savannah Guthrie put out a video begging for answers 2 hours before that deadline passed.
We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. We are at an hour of desperation.
Authorities believe Nancy Guthrie was taken against her will from her home on January 31st. With the search now in its second week, there is growing concern about her health because she does need daily medication. This morning, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is joining Choose Chicago for their annual tourism meeting.
Well,
Governor Pritzker is also speaking at the event. Let's listen in.
Kristen Reynolds and your board chair, Guy Ciparroni. Thank you very much for your leadership. And I want to recognize also Choose Chicago board member and director of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, Kristen Richards, who is one of the hardest working leaders in our state government. Chicago, all of us know this, but you know, Chicago has long been a great global city where people from every corner of the world come to gather, to explore, to do business, dine, drink, learn, and beyond. And that status became fully established way back in 1893 at the World's Fair, when world travelers descended upon our city for a months-long celebration of art and music and culture and technology. And after they departed, attendees left delighted and they left inspired, and not just by the displays that they saw, but also just by the city itself. W.J. Rolfe described the feeling that people had, saying, Chicago itself seemed to be a great exhibition, no less wonderful in its way than the fair. 133 years later, this city continues to instill the same emotion in our visitors, whether they're coming for business or for leisure, whether they stay for a month or just a night, whether they're here for the first time or have been coming here their whole lives. There is something inherently magical about this place. Choose Chicago has been able to capture that spirit and to spread it and its message to visitors and to businesses and associations all over the world. We have so much to offer. We know that. We want the world to know that. Our world-class restaurants, our renowned arts and culture scene, beautiful views, a great lake, abundant parks, and diverse communities. Not to mention the largest convention center in North America. Yeah. All of that is powered by some of the most decent, hardworking, and kind people in the entire world. And you're powering the economy. Billions of dollars in hospitality and travel and retail spending that you all attract because people want to be with good people like live in the city of Chicago in the state of Illinois. Those events and the tourists that support those events create more than 130,000 good jobs and generate more than $20 billion in economic impact every single year. And when we invest in the places that make Chicago unique, we lift up the businesses and the people that work and live alongside them, welcoming even more businesses to build and grow and show the world everything that our city has to offer. Over the last few years, the progress that we've made.
Okay, we're listening in there to Governor Pritzker at this event now, celebrating tourism and finding new ways to attract even more people here to our great city of Chicago, as he's really talking about $20 billion in economic impact that tourists make in this area, whether it's for the events that happen here, the food that's here, the people that are here, and so much more. So they're going to continue on with that program, cheering on our city, hoping that more people will even come. There's so much to celebrate here. Even he was at a Route 66 event yesterday.
Big year for Route 66.
Yeah, so a lot of history still being made. He went back to the World Fair, still making history today. So they're going to continue on. But let's continue on, because one thing that we're hoping continues to stay in Illinois to bring people here would be the Chicago Bears. Illinois lawmakers are now making some moves to keep the Bears from leaving for Indiana.
This is a big change. Representatives from the governor's office, as well as legislative leaders, and the Bears are now close to an agreement on major issues to move forward in Arlington Heights. Sources close to the talk said that the agreement in principle focuses on two key issues: financing for infrastructure and the so-called pilot bill that would give the Bears and other major developers the ability to negotiate property tax rates directly with municipalities. Governor Pritzker, who we spoke to yesterday, sounded very optimistic about the direction of those talks.
There's a lot of discussion, a lot of ongoing conversation with the Bears, and indeed, frankly, progress that's been made. So I'm pleased about that. But, I'm going to let the Bears talk about what it is that they want to get done and how they want to get it done.
Indiana's counterparts have already passed the bill out of their state Senate. It would create a public authority to finance the stadium, with the Bears then paying rent. They hope to pass their bill and get it to Governor Mike Braun's desk by the end of their legislative session on February 27th.
Time is a ticking here. So we said goodbye to football season on Sunday, of course, and now our attention turns to baseball. Spring training kicks off this week in Arizona. Pitchers and catchers for the White Sox report today with their first game against the Cubs on the 20th.
We're excited. There's a fair amount of momentum that's been created, both because of the second half last year, some of the acquisitions that we were able to make in the offseason. But I know that Will's really focused to start at ground zero and start from zero and get to work both fundamentally, ease these guys into playing time, so we're off and ready to go come opening day. So, we feel really good about where we're at. The room is excited. They're hungry. But we got to go out and play good baseball. And that's why we're out here in spring training, to really set the stage for that.
Gotta play good baseball at the end of the day. Cubs pitchers and catchers report tomorrow. I was talking to Tina Wen out there yesterday, and she's like, I'm cranking up the AC. It's so hot.
She is in Arizona this time of year. Yeah, rubbing it in. Yeah, for sure.
All right, you may have heard this. There's a parade of planets, quote unquote, later this month. 6 planets are going to kind of line up and appear fairly close to each other on the 28th. You will have a chance to see Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn with the naked eye, if you know where to look, particularly for Mercury. If you want to see Uranus and Neptune, you're going to need a telescope and know exactly where to look. Last year, on February 27th, these same planets, along with Mars, kind of lined up. This won't happen again until 2040. We're going to be back with more of Good Day right after this. level. This may shock, especially some younger men. A new study finds that younger males may develop cardiovascular disease years earlier than females. The risk of coronary heart disease began to vary between males and females around age 35. And this earlier risk profile suggests that factors beyond high blood pressure and diabetes may be involved. Who knows better than Fox Medical Team's Dr. Mike, who's going to tell us more about this study. Dr. Mike, always great to have you on here. This is just, as a man, we don't live as long as women. Now here's another, bad news showing the disparity between young men's health and females' health. Why?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, Big Mike, and I got to tell you, we are guys, right? And guys don't tend to go to get checkups, especially young, virile guys like you. All right, so you're a young guy, you're working out, you're trying to take care of yourself, but see, you don't know whether you have some underlying coronary disease because you haven't gotten checked out.
Okay.
So you go to the healthcare provider, and what the studies have shown is that about 7 years before women start to develop risk for heart disease, men do. Now, it might be what I just said, because men don't go to the doctor, or it could be we don't have that protective estrogen, or it could be that we choose to live a lifestyle that may not be the best for us. So in Philly, it's cheesesteaks. In Chicago, and by the way, I love what you guys are doing over there. I'm coming to Chicago. I love that city. Now, but you don't eat the right kinds of foods. And if you don't eat the right foods, you don't exercise, you're going to get into trouble.
All right, our second topic today, Dr. Mike, and this one, at least in my opinion, is from the Oh Really files. A new study says a person's genes play a far greater role in likely lifespan than previously thought, according to a new major study. I've always thought, and I think I'm correct on this, that there is a lot of genetics in play. Is this suggesting an even greater role in that, Dr. Mike?
You better believe it, all right? We used to think that genetics was about 25% of how long you're going to live. Now, the new data suggests it might be up to like 50%. So when I have patients that come in, say you come in, Big Mike, you're my patient, and I'm looking at everything. All right, number one, we can't pick our parents. We can't pick our genetics. So if you have something like the Lynch syndrome or something that a BRCA gene, that's going to increase your risk. Can't do much about that other than monitor very carefully and do your colonoscopies and your mammograms and all those things. But what we do control is what we eat. How we exercise. Do we exercise at all? Are we getting enough sleep? Do we try to reduce our stress? And if you do those things, you're going to live to your full biologic potential. I'm going to tell you this, Big Mike.
All right.
It's really, in my mind, not the number of breaths you take, but the number of times your breath is taken away.
Oh,
Bingo.
My gosh. Look, if this physician thing doesn't work out for you, you should be a poet, Dr. Mike. That was beautiful. See you soon, buddy. All right, we're going to be back with more of Good Day right after this.
having a thriving city that people can come and visit, it's a point of pride for us. When visitors come to Chicago, they support neighborhood businesses. It spurs job creation and generates billions of revenue dollars to ensure that the critical services that our people rely upon can be delivered. But it also enables us to invest in the neighborhoods, particularly the ones who have been ignored. Chicago's tourism industry has supported hundreds of thousands of jobs that spread throughout all of our 77 unique neighborhoods. And tourism partners in this room, along with our hospitality workers, are helping us to advance my administration's commitment to making Chicago, again, the safest, most affordable big city in America. And together we are creating the vibrancy and the quality of life that makes Chicago a city that people want to live in and a place where people want to return. And people come to Chicago from all over the world to cheer on, of course, our favorite teams. I know you all were bored on Sunday, but we're going to work on that. But they also come to see the artists they love. They want to experience the culture and the community that makes our neighborhoods so unique. They also come here to provide meaningful business opportunities. But they also come here because we do have this incredible convention center, one that is set apart from anywhere else in North America. And here's the thing, we're good at holding these conventions and celebrations. And we can see the proof of our excellence in the official tourism numbers. Chicago welcomed more than 55 million visitors every year who spend billions of dollars throughout our city. O'Hare Airport is once again the busiest airport in the entire country. After recording the most active summer in its 70-year history, we are thrilled to have been named the best big city in America by Condé Nast Travelers for the 9th consecutive year in a row. And of course, we continue to win major competitive events, from the WWE Elimination Chamber to the NCAA tournament to the WNBA All-Star Game, and of course the 2027 MLB All-Star Game.
And you were just listening to Mayor Brandon Johnson touting some of the success of tourism here in Chicago. He said last year the city created about $55 billion in tourism. And he also mentioned how O'Hare Airport is once again the busiest airport in the country. We'll have much more from Mayor Johnson a little bit later today here on Fox Chicago. Well, from the city's most romantic restaurant to neighborhood-driven ice hockey rinks, Chicago's communities are always full of stories. Joining us now from Black Club Chicago is Madison Saavedra to talk about some of the local stories as well as what we're hearing from people across the city. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, you know we got Valentine's Day this week. Geha's Cafe is one of the most romantic restaurants in the city. What has made that restaurant maybe kind of really stand the test of time?
I think just something about the very cozy and intimate atmosphere that they foster. I mean, something about fondue. I mean, it's warm, it's cozy, you gotta lean in close to get your food, you know, puts you closer to that person you're having dinner with. I think that really sets the tone. And you know, you did mention Valentine's Day coming up, but they told my colleague who wrote the story that the Valentine's Day reservations went in minutes. So you'll have to try again next year. But this place has, yeah, like you said, stood the test of time. Almost 30 years in business, and they are actually now expanding next door. So they're going to be adding 10 additional tables, which will hopefully help, you know, first daters, proposers, etc., get in.
You get the whole range. We have the first dates, and then we got the forever dates.
Exactly. And I mean, the owner said that they have had thousands upon thousands of both of those.
They've definitely been friends of the show. Also, your reporting shows that some of the indie music venues here in Chicago they're not turning a profit. Why is that, and why is that problematic for Chicago's music scene?
So it was for a couple of reasons, and this was found in a report done by the Chicago Independent Venue League. And their report essentially found that, yeah, only about 1/5 of these venues are profitable, and some of those reasons are just general high costs of everything these days. Inflation, you know, predatory like scalping practices, you know, people are having to pay even more for tickets than usual. And also a big factor is people aren't buying alcohol as much. You know, I think that's a general societal trend we're seeing.
The younger generation.
Exactly. And that's something that historically venues have really depended on to kind of help boost their profits. So as a result, this report, they have a couple things that they think the city and state local officials can do to help. One of those is, you know, maybe some tax relief for local venues, working better with the city's cultural affairs department, and also, you know, coming to the venues with potential like local development financing. So, you know, a little bit of like brass and tax stuff. But they also just encourage Chicagoans that when you go to these venues, buy food, buy drinks, buy non-alcoholic drinks. Yeah, buy merch.
Support the mom and pop shops, not just the big time concerts that you see.
Yeah. And I mean, Chicago certainly has the appetite for it. Like that was something they found in their report, that Chicago is a city that like the stadiums are well attended, the venues are well attended. You know, there is an appetite for it, so people just need to like get out to the right ones.
Right. And I also want to talk to you about some of the neighbors in Humboldt Park. They've we've had freezing temperatures, it feels like, for all of January. But they've taken it upon themselves to create their own ice hockey rink. Tell us how that came to be.
Yeah, so this was something that it sounds like one person started during the pandemic, which I think a lot of, you know, fun outdoor activities kind of got a kickstart. So this is in one of the corners of the Humboldt Park Lagoon, and neighbors just get together and they have this informal Humboldt Park hockey club. And, you know, it's really, it seems like a lot of fun, you know, not too competitive, like first timers can get out there on the ice. You know, there's no refereeing or anything, but there are people that check to make sure that the ice is thick enough. So I think the day that my colleague went out and took some photos, it was about 4 inches thick and had been for quite some time. And they take good care of it. They have their own like makeshift kind of Zamboni practice where they just use some hot water and a little bit of like a sponge and some shoveling, and they make it nice. But it's fun. I think their kind of motto there is like anything that gets you out of the house and in community in the winter time, which can just be a really tough time for a lot of people.
We definitely need that for sure. Madison, where can people find some more stories if they want to do a little bit more research on some of the ideas you've shared?
Yeah, well, they can always find our stories at blockclubchicago.org, and then they can also sign up for our newsletter and get our stories into their inbox every morning and every afternoon.
All right, appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Time's now 9:30. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back here on Good Day Chicago.
this ad.
9:33. Looking out at Lake in Michigan, you see folks maybe wearing a slightly less heavy coat today because we have a little bit of a warming trend. Yesterday was upper 30s and low 40s. Today, I think everybody's good for low to mid 40s at least. In some spots, may even get even warmer than that. Take a look at the beautiful pancake ice there out over the lake today. A crystal clear blue sky over the city currently. Temperature at O'Hare, where there's just a little bit of high cloudiness, 39 degrees. We have a west-northwest wind at 9 miles per hour. The wind chill, a tolerable 33 degrees out there right now. Look at these current numbers. A little bit colder north, but not bad. 37 at Woodstock, 38 at Waukegan, DeKalb 39. The farther south you get, the warmer it is. 45 at LaSalle, Peru, 45 at Joliet. South of I-80, you're going to be flirting with 50 here in a couple of hours. Northwest Indiana, 43 at Gary, 44 at Merrillville. Along Chicago's lakefront, it is 41 degrees. Now, compared with 9 a.m. yesterday, a nice bump. 18 degrees warmer at Joliet, Gary, 23 degrees warmer at Valparaiso, and it's 13 degrees warmer at Waukegan. We have done away with the Arctic air for the foreseeable future. I see nothing maybe through the end of the month, knock on wood here. Winds have begun to shift. Earlier today, they were out of the southwest. We're now behind a cold front, but this cold front didn't come from northern climes. It came from the Pacific, so the air behind it really isn't all that cold. Winds may be in the 10 to 20 mile an hour range, sustained, perhaps a stronger gust here or there, but nothing's going to blow a tree down today. 45 for the high, partly sunny, northwest winds 10 to 20. Tonight, partly cloudy, seasonably chilly, low temperature of 28. It won't be super windy, northwest winds at 5 to 15. Check out the 7-day forecast every single day, warmer than normal. I'm going to maintain a very small chance of a shower of either wet snow or rain, especially well west or southwest of the city on Thursday. This is looking like less and less of anything. And over the weekend, I am convinced that that storm system is a total miss to the south. 45 for Valentine's Day and Sunday. And then we start a new warming trend on Monday with a high of 48. And beyond that, we may have several 50s on the way next week. All right, let's look at several very lovely photos. Take a look at this one from Trevon and Dana in Park Forest, giving us a look at that sky almost on fire there. I see one bird flying through there. Still have a little bit of snow on the ground there in Park Forest. Pretty picture there. Thanks for sending that one in. Photo number 2, bird in flight, sparrow. This is a house sparrow enjoying the sun in Arlington Heights. Glenn Coppard giving us some very nice detail on that bird, which at my feeders is a pain in the butt. These things eat almost all of the food out there. They are an invasive species, but that's a pretty picture of that bird, Glenn. Our third photo, I like these birds better, but take a closer look at this. Randy Bearden, do you see the 5 blue herons here? And then look who's eyeballing those birds. Yeah, got a little coyote hanging out there. There's no way that coyote is going to be able to catch those herons, and he or she knows it. That's why it's just a mutual admiration society there. And our final photo, thanks for that one, Randy. This one is from my buddy Robert Case. He was in Wakanda this morning. He posted this picture on Facebook. I said, dude, I got to share that one. That is a magnificent sunrise. Sky lit up crazy. Pretty shot there, Robert. I know you had several pictures on your Facebook page. They were all winners, but that one was my favorite. 9:36. We'll be right back after this.
All right, welcome back, everyone. It's 9:40 right now. We're taking you live to a view from our chopper. Not a good situation for the morning commute right there at I-88 in Oak Brook. You can see one vehicle that's being loaded up onto a tow truck. You have a semi-truck there as well. I think I heard a little bit about this on my way in this morning. At one point in time, it had about a 4.5-mile backup. So you could see some cars are getting by, but slowly. So if you can avoid that area, you definitely want to. We'll continue to monitor that situation. Look at that. From that standpoint there, you can see it's just not something you want to be stuck in this morning if you can avoid being in that area. Again, that's I-88 there in Oak Brook. Now, come on back into the studio. It's an event that is all about building community, creating some real impact here from people who know they have done it. Jamal Cole, the founder of My Block, My Hood, My City, and Christian Perry, political director for Mayor Brandon Johnson, who's always all over the place. They are part of a team of game changers hosting the first ever The Ripple Effect. You know why I said game changers when I'm talking about you, sir. But great to have you both here.
Good to see you, Fran.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen you. Last time you were here, you all had just dropped this, World Stop video saying that you were getting ready to do this.
Thank you.
And now we're almost here to the big day.
We are here. Thank you for having me again, talking about it. Thank you, CP. Appreciate you, bro. A lot of people right now are scared to come out the house. They don't know if they're gonna make it back home. They're tired of doom scrolling, and they're tired of waiting for people to fix things. On February 21st at the Harold Washington Cultural Center, we got a group of 5 leaders that have evidence of impact and solutions. They want to give people the tools to create change in their own neighborhood. So if you want hope and you want action, be in a building on February 21st.
Yeah, and I love the group that you have assembled together.
Yeah.
Each of you all have done wonderful things in the city from different vantage points, but then all kind of together as well.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago is home to some of the most incredible organizers that the country has ever produced, right? And these 4 brothers who actually are my brothers, we've broken bread in my home, we've wrestled together, not always, come to the same conclusion, but we all know, coming from the south and west sides of Chicago, that there's a huge opportunity before us to share what we've learned along the way in hopes to inspire that same action amongst people that are feeling really hopeless right now.
Yeah, and so when you get people in the room, what types of things are you trying to impart upon them in terms of how they can be a part of the change?
Yeah, well, I would say that there's a lot of types of activists in Chicago, and some people, they take teenagers on field trips. Some people, they deal with food insecurity. Some people work in politics. Some people do DEI in corporate America. That's all good for Chicago because it puts pressure on institutions to address issues we care about. So what we're trying to say right now is that it matters when a group of 5 black men get together to do something positive and want to model the impact that we want to see. So we want you to create ripples of hope in your own community, and we're going to model that impact on February 21st.
Yeah, and that's really what it's about, is that we can all come from different vantage points to collectively do something, moving the city forward. And really it's multi-generational, it's multiracial, it's all the things.
That's right. I mean, you guys know who I work for. I think I work for the greatest mayor in America, and he says, it's going to take a multicultural, intergenerational movement in order to bring about the transformation that we want to see. So we're trying to give people some tools, some actions to put hope to work. I'll give a preview of what I might share that night, and that's one of my favorite quotes from St. Augustine, and that is that hope has 2 beautiful daughters. Anger at the way things are, and courage to ensure they don't stay the way they are. So we hope that people come, if you're angry, if you're frustrated, and you want some tools to put to work for yourself, we think we got a few ideas on how we might help people make change.
Yeah, there's ideas, and then there's putting in the work to actually make it happen.
That's right.
And you both know very well the work that it takes.
Absolutely.
Far past the idea.
Yeah, collectively as a group, we've raised over $50 million together. We've been doing social impact work in Chicago for a long time, and we called it the Ripple Effect Tour because, President Kennedy, obviously says that each time a person stands up for an ideal or strikes out against injustice, they put forth a tiny ripple of hope. And together, if we all create our ripples, we can create a wave of change that can knock down the mightiest walls of oppression. He was dropping bars back in the day. He was dropping bars. So we're going to drop some bars on February 21st and give people the tools to make some change.
Yeah. Who hope is such a Chicago theme, you know, such a Chicago theme. But who are maybe some of the most influential change makers to the two of you all? Like, for you to be where you are in Chicago today?
Yeah, well, I would say that, you know, I watched the movie Malcolm X so many times growing up. I thought Denzel Washington was Malcolm X. I always knew I wanted to speak in front of the currency exchange and in front of the beauty supply store, and that's Malcolm did it for me, yeah.
And quickly, I say my late grandfather, Johnny Davis Sr., he taught in Chicago Public Schools for 33 years, and he was a Sunday school teacher, shoveled the snow on the block, raised his family, great man of integrity, and I just grew up seeing a man who thought he could make a difference in the lives of people, and I think not only the South Side, but the city of Chicago is better for him, so I try to honor that legacy.
I love it. I love it, and we're so looking forward to the event again. There's the information right there on your screen, everybody. Saturday, February 21st. You want to be in the building there at the Harold Washington Cultural Center. I'm going to send it now to Jake, though, because I always thought he was a little bit more of a lover than a fighter, but he's in a place that's going to maybe embrace both.
Exactly right. You can love to fight, and it still works out here. We're live at the UFC gym in Naperville. Listen, if you're looking to maybe have an alternative to dinner, movie, drinks this Valentine's Day, what if you and your significant other maybe burned a couple of calories together? We're going to tell you more all about it coming up right here on Good Day Chicago.
All right, everybody, 9:48 Valentine's Day. If you did not know, I don't know where you've been, but it is the one day that you do not want to fight with your partner, and it is coming up very soon.
It sure is. But the UFC gym in Naperville, they're asking for you to maybe make an exception to help you connect.
We need an explanation. Our own Jake Hamilton is out there now to show us what they have planned for Valentine's Day. That's what, 200 pounds you're throwing around there, Jake?
99, 100. Oh, sorry, guys. Good morning. You caught me there.
Got some good form.
You know, just just what I do before every live shot, let's be honest. But listen, guys, we're live out here, UFC Gym in Naperville. Take a look at these folks who are making the most out of their morning. Listen, this Valentine's Day, which need I remind you is just a couple of days away, you can always do dinner, drinks, and a movie. Let's be honest, you could do that anytime. But what if you and a significant other did something that maybe got your heart pumping? After all, it is Heart Health Month. We're going to talk with Matt Kuchert. Matt, my man, one of the amazing managers out here. I've been with Matt all morning long. Matt, I'm loving what I'm seeing out here, man. Any day of the week, people can do dinner and drinks and a movie. Who needs that for Valentine's Day? This could be a much more productive Valentine's Day.
Bring your date night here. Work out like this, burn calories, get your heart rate up, have fun with your loved ones. This is what we do every day. And time.
I told Matt, I said, we don't want to interrupt the workout, so we're going to keep the workout going while we're talking about this. But, I got to say, we've been out here all morning long, and the vibes out here are just good. Intimidation is such a factor for people that are maybe a little worried about walking to a gym for the first time. It doesn't matter your age, your abilities, where you're at in your fitness program. This is a very welcoming place.
We couldn't agree more. It's really important that you create an environment where everybody can be comfortable in their own skin. We're all different ages, sizes, ability levels in different portions of our fitness journey. So we've created an environment where anybody can do this. Literally, little kids, moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, special needs students. Everybody is welcome here to push themselves to the best of their ability. And everybody can get a great workout in where they stress themselves, build some muscle, increase cardiovascular health, right? This is Heart Health Month, right? February is special emphasis on heart health. Well, every month is Heart Health Month here at UFC Gym because we focus on the most important muscle in our body, which is our cardiac muscle.
Matt, I was telling you, I said, my girlfriend and I, for a while we would go to the gym and we would split. I'd go do one thing and she'd go do another. And just recently we've started working out together, and it's just a coincidence that I'm doing this live shot, but I have noticed a difference in the workout. There is a value in having a partner, and to some degree it starts with accountability. If one person doesn't want to go, the other person can say, get off your butt, we're going.
You are so right. An accountability partner is key. So whether that's your spouse, your friend, your neighbor, your buddy, somebody who keeps you accountable to your fitness goals, and vice versa. We all wake up in the morning like, get working, and if you have a partner to do it with, and fun exercises like this, so right now they're doing a push-up, plank to high five, right? So they're going to keep each other on a strong pace here. Heart rates are elevating right now. They're getting into nice fitness zones. So you have some aerobic style activity like this where you're in those first 3 heart rate zones, and then you have anaerobic activity where you're really taxing the heart and you're building up that resilience, and it strengthens the cardiac muscle so you can go further, faster, longer.
Love that. All right. Tell people a little bit about what's happening this Valentine's Day. And also, you know what? Outside of Valentine's Day, 365 days a year, people can come out here and treat every month like Heart Health Month.
That's correct. And we've got a lot of couples, families that work out here together. They love the culture that has been built. And frankly, a big part of the culture is them, right? Ricardo and I can do so much to create a really welcoming culture. But at the end of the day, our members, our staff, they're the ones who have really cultivated a very special environment. So, yeah, whether it's Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, 4th of July.
Tuesday.
Yes, we will be in here working, making ourselves better, stronger versions of ourselves. And then the encouragement that you see from the staff and from the members, in my opinion, humbly, it's second to none.
Matt Kuchert, my man, I appreciate you. Time, guys, well done. All right, guys, we're live out here, UFC Gym in Naperville. These folks have been doing an amazing job all morning. And as we toss it back to the studio, guys, I got to get back to work, if you don't mind. 1001. 1002. We'll be right back. 1003. 1004.
9:55. Happy Tuesday, you guys. We have a really fun show ahead. So these hoarding shows that you see on different platforms are so interesting. They pull you in. So today we're talking to the newest season host of Filthy Fortunes, which premieres this Sunday on the Discovery Channel. Mr. Matt Paxton is talking to us about it.
Almost sounds like a Hoarders meets Antique Roadshow, because they're digging up treasures in some of these hoarding situations. Also, we're going to speak with the doctor at Rush University about a side effect a lot of people on these GLP-1s are experiencing, talking about hair loss. Is it a big problem? We'll talk about it coming up.
Donald.